Okay, now let's just take a moment and review the entire process from start to finish. Step 1, glycolysis. Start with a single molecule of glucose. This molecule of glucose is going to be catabolized and broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvate. This produces a net gain of 2 ATP, and it will produce electron carriers in the form of NADH. If oxygen is present, our pyruvate will be oxidized as it passes into the mitochondria, and as it is oxidized, carbons are going to be pulled off to form carbon dioxide, and the pyruvates will be converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Each acetyl coenzyme A is a 2-carbon molecule. This also produces a reduced electron carrier in the form of NADH. Each molecule of acetyl coenzyme A can enter the citric acid cycle, and as each molecule of acetyl coenzyme A spins the citric acid cycle, we produce 2 molecules of carbon dioxide, 2 ATPs, NADH, and a new electron carrier called FADH2. At this point, all of the carbons have been liberated from our 6-carbon sugar. The energy is all tied up in these electron carriers, which are then routed to the cristae, where oxidative phosphorylation occurs. Oxidative phosphorylation has 2 parts: the electron transport chain, where the electrons from these electron carriers are going to pass down this energy gradient along the membrane proteins until they are gathered up by half a molecule of oxygen, 2 protons to form a water molecule called metabolic water. Each step along the way where the electrons are oxidizing and reducing and oxidizing and reducing creates protons that fill up the intermembrane space, and these protons move along their concentration gradient through the ATP synthase protein as part of chemiosmosis. Each one of these protons moving through here causes a conformational change, and it causes this rotor to spin, and this allows phosphates to be added to ADPs to make 28 ATPs. So for each molecule of glucose that enters this process, a net gain of about 30 to 32 ATPs occurs. Now the question is, why is oxygen required?